While I'm a firm believer in the idea that sustainable success is not made by picking tops and bottoms, following the trend, I believe, is where the meat and potatoes are. With that being said, it's important to be able to anticipate tops and bottoms, so we wouldn't get caught on the wrong side of an emerging trend. You should have various tools in your arsenal to be able to do that. We might go over more of these tools later on, maybe a series of short videos like this one, given positive feedback. I think we all agree that no tool works all the time. What we are always after is a bag of tools that when most of these tools are aligned, we would be confident enough in our trading, trying to neutralize the psychological factors that might undermine our success. So let's start by familiarizing ourselves with channels. A channel consists of two parallel lines, and it only takes 3 points to draw a channel. Almost every platform has the option to show that channel's middle line, and more often than not, that middle line would offer significant support or resistance. Okay, that's all great, but how to put that to good use? Let's quickly explore 4 types of channels that might be of value. First, corrective channels. We all know that corrective price action is almost always characterized by being choppy and overlapping in nature. This is wheat's March contract 2022, and we are interested in the price action from the 2nd till the 5th of November. This market we cover in the intraday commodities pro service, and the working assumption here is that wave 1 has stopped and that wave 2 here is subdividing as a double zigzag labeled wave W, X, and Y. It is very common for corrective patterns to be contained within a channel. So with that in mind, this construction would provide an estimated boundary for wave 2. In other words, this lower boundary of this channel would provide support if tested. Fast forward a few hours, and we notice that wave 2 has indeed located a bottom around that boundary. Here's a pro tip. A decisive break above that middle line, and more importantly the upper boundary of that corrective price channel, would offer a good sign that the counter trend move has ended and that the larger degree uptrend has resumed. Take a second to look at the price action here. Once wheat broke above that upper boundary, this is called a retest. A retest is when the boundary turns from support to resistance or vice versa after a breach of that boundary. The second type we are going to go over today is the base channel, and that technique is part of KCT, or the Kennedy channel technique, made by Jeffrey Kennedy. The difference between a corrective channel and a base channel is that the corrective channel is drawn on an ABC or a WXY pattern, while the base channel is drawn using waves 1 and 2 of an emerging impulse wave. So, assuming that wave 3 has started unfolding toward the upside, let's draw waves 1 and 2 here. So, we have our waves 1 and 2. Let's draw our base channel from the base of wave 1 to the end of wave 2, and then a parallel line from the end of wave 1. Let's give it another color so we will be able to distinguish between both the corrective and the base channel. The most important rule of a base channel is to identify that a third wave has started by a break above the upper boundary of that base channel. What we look for here is a solid break above the upper boundary to support the analysis that wave 3 is underway. Notice the intersection between the corrective price channel and the base channel and how prices reacted to that intersection. Now let's delete these channels and focus on our last 2 channels for the day. Fast forward a few hours. Looking at the subdivisions within wave 3, we notice that we have waves 1, 2, and 3 complete, and that a 4th wave is in force. Now that we have a 3rd wave in place, we want to construct an estimated boundary for wave 4. We can do that by drawing a line connecting the end of wave 1 and the end of wave 3, then draw a parallel line from the end of wave 2, and more often than not, wave 4 would locate a bottom around the lower boundary of that temporary channel. However, at times, the middle line would offer significant support, sending prices higher. That's why it's important to draw middle lines. I think more research should go into the significance of a given channel's middle line. Fast forward a few hours. Now, once we have a bottom for wave 4, it's now the time to draw an estimated boundary for wave 5. The typical textbook channel is the one drawn from the end of wave 2 to the end of wave 4, and a parallel line running from the end of wave 3. Here we look for that upper boundary to offer resistance and that it may coincide with the end of wave 5. However, when we have a sharp and extended third wave, as is the case here, it's best to draw the parallel line from the end of wave 1, and knowing that wave 3 is a sharp and extended wave, let's draw the other channel connecting the ends of waves 2 and 4, and then the end of wave 1. Let's give it another color so we are able to distinguish between both channels. So right away we notice that the upper boundary of the channel running from the high of wave 1 is not on top of that, the upper boundary of the channel running from the end of wave 3. So in such a situation, we would be looking for the middle line of that channel running from the end of wave 3, and then the upper boundary of the other channel running from the end of wave 1. Fast forward a few hours. Notice how wave 5 has baked close to the upper boundary of that final channel running from the end of wave 1, and if you look closely, you can notice that once we have a solid break below that lower boundary, that we have initial confirmation that an interim top is in place and that a corrective retreat is underway. Also, one more thing to notice is the retest of that lower boundary as it changed from support to resistance. That's all for me today. Always keep in mind that we should not depend on a single tool or technique, but always look to have a bag of tools that, as we discussed, when they align, that would give us confidence in our operative count, leading to less stress when we are trading. This was Nadi Laimoud, the Intraday Commodities Pro Service Analyst here at Elite Wave International. Thank you for your time and happy trading.